Good afternoon. My name is Yori Folare, and this is a program of coverage of the 13th BAT Bola Tinubu Colloquium, because it is his 70th birthday. It's the 13th in the series, so it shows that it's been going for some time. And we have a coverage booth, both at the, at the Eco Hotel, that's the venue, and also all the events that are also going on, we'll be bringing them to you. In studio with me here, Dr. Jide Johnson. I'm very happy to welcome you again, Dr. Jide Johnson. Hardly need any introduction to our viewers. Well, thank you very much for coming along, Jide.
It's a privilege and honor to share this platform with you,
Dr.
Yori.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Jide Johnson is Chief Lecturer at the Nigeria Institute of Journalism. Majid Jamiu, Upshot Media, is a politician. In fact, both of them are...
I'm a journalist.
Well, he's a journalist, but he's a member of the ruling APC.
I am a journalist.
Okay. Dr. Jide Johnson is a member of the ruling APC.
I'm not a member of any political party.
There you go. Anyway, a warm welcome to you on this 70th birthday of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. A colloquium we'll be holding today from right now. In fact, we will be taking you to the venue. Perhaps we should also check. We have our man, Ayodele Ozubaku, at the venue. In fact, checking if Ayo is connected. Hello, Ayo. Ayodele? What?
Yes, Yori.
There you go. Good to go. Okay, Ayo. So here we are in studio. I got Majid Jamiu and Dr. Jide Johnson with me here. You are out there. Tell us how far, what's the progress you have in terms of arranging for the event?
Yes, right now, any moment from now, the event will be kicking off, and the 13th annual Asiwaju Bola Tinubu Colloquium, and it's very, very significant for this year. Since Bola Tinubu left government in 2007 as the governor of Lagos State, if you don't forget, he served as the governor of Lagos State between 1999 to 2007. After that, after his exit from office, it has always been a point of duty to hold this academic conference every year, in memory of the ideals and the ideas of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. This is going to be the 13th edition, and this 13th edition, it is significant. It's significant in the sense that with the topic of pivoting Nigeria into the new world order, imperative of good governance. Now, what we have here for this year, for 2022, it is significant in the sense that Bola Tinubu is 70 today, and Bola Tinubu is also an aspirant of the All Progressive Congress, vying for the highest office in the land. He has been going from length and breadth of the country, telling people that he is the man for the job. And after the unblemished legacy that he left in Lagos in 2007, a lot of people have been talking about him being the father of modern Lagos, that the 5th largest economy in Africa, that its footpath till today is what people are still consolidating on. So what we have here today is people, party chieftains, members of the All Progressive Congress, governors, with friends and family assembling here, and as you can see from the hall here, they are seated members of the House of Representatives, National Assembly members of Lagos House of Assembly, and everywhere Bola Tinubu has influence across the country, they are seated for this 13th edition of his annual colloquium. And I told you that this is very, very important. Any moment from now, in the next 2 months now, the All Progressive Congress will be selecting the presidential candidate for this particular party, and he's a front runner in that particular contest. So this is going to be like a defining moment for Bola Tinubu.
Indeed. Now, we're going to be hearing speakers at the colloquium. It's unlikely that we'll be hearing from Bola Tinubu himself. He will be, of course, he's the guest of honor. But just tell us, if you can, if you have the information, the speakers that are expected at this event, and generally take us through how it rolls, considering that there might be some use that this might be their first BAT colloquium.
Yes, according to that topic, there's going to be the format of the colloquium. You know, it's an academic seminar, and the theme for this, as I said earlier, is pivoting Nigeria into the new world order, imperative of good governance. Guest speakers are going to be here. They're going to take center stage, and after the guest speaker might have exhausted his lectures, they're going to take question and answers. They're going to have goodwill messages from all across the country. People that are meant to be around are not around. They're going to have some virtual guests from across Africa, and at the same time, before the end of the colloquium, the celebrant himself, Bola Tinubu, will give a vote of thanks, and he will give his own message. So hopefully, we expect by the time it's 2 o'clock, all the guests will be here seated. But the security is quite tight entering into this place. You either have your tag or your official invitation. If you don't have any business here, you're not going to be given access to the convention center of the Eco Hotel and Suites. Okay,
so it's not an all-comers affair in the interest of order.
This convention center is just with limited capacity. It can accommodate 5,000 people. But if you are testing the popularity of Bola Tinubu, if you want it to be all comers, they would have used Onikon Stadium or the National Stadium. But this is strictly by invitation. So if he's to test his popularity, I'm sure this place will not contain half of his supporters.
Okay. Now, so thank you very much, Ayo. I imagine that as we go along, there might be 1 or 2 people that you want to interview. You know, the way we do it. We've been doing this kind of a thing. So you just let us know, and then we'll take those interviews. In the meantime, we'll revert to studio and talk with our guests. I told you before, you might, I don't know if you can see from there, but Majid Jamil and Jire Johnson, they are in studio. Okay, thank you very much. So now, there we have it. It's all set. It looks to me, as he said, Dr. Johnson, it's an intellectual gathering. So this is the kind of highbrow talk, and it's all about development of the country, because the theme, I said that about 2 or 3 times, is pivoting Nigeria into the new world order. It's an imperative of good governance.
Well, if you look at the thematic subject of this colloquium, which in actual sense is an academic talk program, and with what is happening in Russia, Ukraine, and what is happening across Africa and across the globe, you agree with me, and if you domesticate it with the transition we are going to have this year, you agree with me that this is a central topic that is germane to contemporary issues, and how do we fit ourselves into the new imagined world order, and then how do we transit from this present government into another government come 2023. So I am anxious to listen to what the guest lecturer will say and the contributions from people from this particular colloquium. And you know, this colloquium has always provided us with insight on how we navigate the course of this nation.
Here we are. It's the 13th Bola Tinubu colloquium holding at Eco Hotel. We've spoken with our man Ayodele Zumbakun. We'll be returning there from time to time, and Dr. Jide Johnson and Majid Jamil in studio here to sort of help co-anchor the event. Now, the background to the man, the celebrant, as we were saying, I was saying to Ayo that we won't be hearing as much from Tinubu today as the intellectuals that will be delivering their addresses. But let's look at the background of the man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 70 today, and he would be the president of Nigeria as long as the electorate is in agreement with him.
Yeah, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man who is unique in so many ways. You don't call him the last man standing for nothing, and for those who care to know the history of how he became the last man standing evolved in between 1999 and 2003. 6 governors were elected on the platform of the Alliance for Democracy in 1999, the likes of Echeg Oshoba, Lamadeshino, Asiwaju himself, Niyi Adebayo in Ekiti State, and Baba Akonde in Osun. And I think who was in Ondo State now. So 6 of them in 1999. By 2003, I mean, there was this conspiracy where, I mean, there was a move to support Obasanjo. I mean, Obasanjo, it was won on the platform of PDP as president in 1999 without any support from the Southwest. So I think some Yoruba leaders now said, we need to support this man so that it won't seem as if he's an alien to Yoruba. But Asiwaju was cautious. He said, well, you guys, let us be careful. Oh. They said we should vote for Asiwaju, I mean, for Obasanjo at the presidential election, while we vote our governors AD. But not knowing that there was a grand plan to remove all the governors, but Asiwaju stood against all of them, and in 2003, after the 2003 elections, he became the only one elected on the platform of the Alliance for Democracy in the Southwest. Indeed. All the other governors were taken over.
Sorry to interrupt you, Majid. You know, we talked earlier today on the station. We've spoken about the intuition of the man. Talking about the last man standing that you're talking about now, it comes from a sense, an intuitive sense. How come he knew or just had this sense that no, I'm not going to go the way my colleagues are going?
Yes, it's good, and like I said, it's had so many facts. Asiwaju remains the only senator in the history of Nigeria to have polled the highest number of votes when he defeated Mrs. Kemi Nelson of the NRC then, during the SDP when he became senator. So he has had so many firsts. I mean, in the whole of Nigeria, as a senator representing the Southwest,
Lagos West.
the Lagos West Senatorial District. So a lot of things that you can ascribe to the man we are celebrating today. I mean, in one of his several firsts, taking Lagos from a 600 million revenue per month to almost 45 billion internally generated revenue today. I mean, he was the one that envisioned that in between 2003 and 2007, when the then Obasanjo administration stopped financing, releasing local government allocations to Lagos because Lagos, under Asiwaju, decided to create 37 local government development, local council development authorities, LCDs, which we still have till today. So, he was able to ingeniously increase the revenue drive of Lagos from 600 million per month to first it went to 10 billion. Then before he left office, I think it was at about 15 billion, which I think the Sanwo-Olu administration has taken to about 45 billion today.
Okay. Jide, talking about the background of the man, I was hearing in conversations, I think earlier today, that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one of those politicians that has had this fidelity to his political grouping, by which I can't remember, he's not decamped, as you've seen other eminent political figures decamp from place to place, one party to the other.
There's no denying the fact that there's a measure of grace that God has given Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Today we are here to celebrate someone that has been able to hold his own against all odds and that has been able to stand the test of time. Like Majid said, he has many firsts going for him, and that has remained, like you pointed out, Uncle, you're resolute to his commitment and to his ideology of progressivism in Nigerian politics. No one can deny that fact. And there is the ability for him to understand the sands of time and the political climate to know how to. And you could see from the topic chosen, pivoting. He knows how to. If, like Majid pointed out, by 1990, by 2003, there was a tsunami that swept all other ED governors, but he survived that onslaught and he was able to regroup and start a new political party, which was Action Congress of Nigeria. From Action Congress of Nigeria, from one state it grew to other state, to Action Congress of Nigeria turned to ACN, from Action Congress to Action Congress of Nigeria, and then we have what we call today the all progressive, thanks to his sagacity, thanks to his understanding of the political terrain. So it's not by chance. There are some people, you may not like them, you may not agree with them, you may not share their philosophy, but there's something that works for them, and it's one of those rare breed in Nigerian politics that has that capacity and that understanding of the Nigerian political terrain. Because if you look from what Majid said, from his election as senator in the Fourth Republic, to date, you discover that the man has been able to build bridges where many people thought bridges couldn't be built. He's been able to build network where many people thought network could not be built, and he's been able to put up a coalition to defeat what we thought to be the largest political party in Africa then, and where someone said they will rule for 60 years, that they will rule 60 years, where the national chairman said they will rule for 60 years, and within the space of less than 4 years, that turns to a marriage. So we salute his courage and his sagacity. Well, what I've said, it's just unfortunate that we celebrate people foreign. We study Aristotle, we study people that share political thoughts, we study Karl Marx. We don't celebrate our own. You see, the Department of Political Science in Lagos State University, the Department of Political Science in University of Lagos, should sit down with someone like, and deconstruct the thought. Then we can have the thoughts of Asiwaju, just like you have the thought of Rousseau, just like you have the thought of Montesquieu, just like you have the thought of, all of these political scholars over time, the thinking behind their decision making. We are fortunate not to have the thinking of Bola Tinubu, for instance. Now, I lost that opportunity. But if you listen to their interview, you know that they have the depth of understanding of the political and economic trajectory of this nation.
Majid, talking about trying to deconstruct his thought process. First of all, this is a man that is famed on knowing how to, choose people and then further develop them. Even at the time, you don't always know what he is doing, but very shortly afterwards, most of the times, people begin to say that, wow, this is something,
just what you just said now, just brought back to my memory what happened at the inauguration of the Dangote fertilizer by President Muhammadu Buhari last week. When the Lagos State Governor was giving his speech, you know what he said? He said he was with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in 2003 on a trip to China, where the idea to consummate the setting up of the Lagos Free Trade Zone, where Dangote Refinery and the Lekki Freeport is set up, was initiated. And I think the governor showed a picture of those of us on that trip that day. And that idea, which was consummated in 2003, 2022 has given birth to the biggest refinery in Africa and the biggest fertilizer plant in sub-Saharan Africa. So you see a man who in 2003, now I'm trying to bring a linkage now. He was with Sanwo-Olu, probably like a special assistant to him then in 2003, when he was governor, and today Sanwo-Olu is governor. So he has a way of identifying people who would, You look at the way he also, brought out Fashola, who was then his chief of staff, against, and look at the transformation of Fashola in Lagos. And even Ambode's 4-year sojourn as governor of Lagos. Look at the Penn Cinema bridge, which was now, of course, completed by the Jide Sanwo-Olu administration. You can see the connection. You can see the gradual transformation of a man who's like Nostradamus, like a man who saw tomorrow.
It's the 13th Bola Tinubu Colloquium. It's holding at Eco Hotel in Lagos, southwest of the country, where we're broadcasting from. In studio, we have Jide Johnson, Majid Jamiu, but we have in our facility at Eco Hotel that has been set up for this purpose, Michael Kwoche and Precious Amayo. So we'll go over to them. Michael, Precious, it's over to you.
Hi Yuri, good to have you. And the point there is, the place here is going amok with the celebration, the preparation for the event today. Let me welcome everyone to our studio at the Eco Hotel and Suites. And I'm not alone, I'm Michael Kwoche. I also have my colleague here with me.
Absolutely not. I am Precious Amayo. I like what you said, your place is going agog. It really is. I think at some point you have to resist the urge not to start dancing because the music is so good.
We'll bring you the live events of what's going on and how it is going on. Now, Yuri, the point there is, I know you spoke to some of Ayo earlier on and also Dodger earlier on. The point there is, right now, all roads are leading to Eco Hotel and Suites. However, the event is not open to everyone, but people, we understand a lot of people, are wishing to be around right here. But the point there is, we talk about the significance of this year's 13th Bola Tinubu birthday colloquium, and the theme surrounds the issue of pivoting Nigeria to the new world order.
Yes, it does. And I think at the end of that, you have the importance of governance. And Mike, it is so strategic and critical, very crucial, that theme. When you really think about it, it revolves around developmental issues. Nigerians have been saying we want more, we want better. How can we do better? There's just that general conversation going around about how do we move Nigeria from where it is now to where it actually should be. And so that's why the theme is so critical. And then because we also have election season around where everyone is so conscious as to who is going to be the next president of this country, who is going to be the next governor of my state, who is going to be the next person representing me at the House of Assembly or House of Representatives. That theme is so crucial, and it's so important that we all pay attention to the conversation ongoing here today.
Yeah, talking about the new world order. Now, not only Nigerians are looking forward to a new world order where Nigeria occupies that space that it originally occupied when they got independence and all of that. Not just Nigerians. Africans are also looking forward to Nigeria occupying that space and then leading the continent into where they want and where they hope and aspire to be. So they're looking forward to the opportunity of the next election, producing leaders who can lead Nigeria into that. So you're going to stay with us on the program. We certainly will be here. There are guests from across the country, from the north, northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, south, and southwest, right here in this place. We'll be talking to some of them, so that you can have a feel of how people feel and what people are hoping, come the public lecture today at the colloquium, and then also going forward, what people are expecting to see and what they expect generally.
Absolutely, and I think that if we do a head count and just ask everyone where you're from, you also find that there are some people who are from outside of Nigeria, within the African continent, or just outside of the African continent as well. I think everyone is represented here today, all race, nationality, we're all here. Because, like you said, the conversation is not just important for Nigeria, it's important for the world.
Yeah.
There is that expectation of Nigeria to emerge and become the leader in Africa that it should be. There are some African countries waiting for Nigeria to show that leadership. So I'm sure that everyone is watching. I'm just paying attention to the conversation ongoing here today because it is really critical.
All right. So guests are arriving at the hall here, and as we get along, we'll certainly be coming back to speak to guests from time to time. So I and my colleague Precious will be alternating. You'll be seeing us back to back, you know, as we get on with guests coming into the studio. So stay with us. Yuri, let me hand over back to you so you can get on with the studio. But however, we'll be right here to bring you sight and sound at the Colloquium here at Eku Hotel and Suites.
Mike and Precious, and we'll be touching base with you from time to time as the need occurs. Especially, it sounds very exciting. People from all over the country, indeed all over the sub-region. And before then, I was going to ask you, in line with what they're talking about now. Look, he's very, very well known all over the country, the celebrant of today. But people might say that, look, in the Southwest, he is particularly well known. Now, he can't be president. Nobody can be president on his own region. President Buhari couldn't become president, even though he was very, very strong in his own era. It was until he joined forces with Bola Tinubu that it all worked out. Now, his influence spread all over the place. It's important. And how do you think he got to that stage, apart from the fact that he's been at it, this particular quest? He's been at it for quite a while. He did say that it's a lifelong ambition of his.
Well, you know that the rallying point for the progressive camp in Nigeria from 1999 to date has been Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. There's no denying that fact. And he has provided the rallying point and the building of network for the people that share progressive ideology. So he's been able to build bridges across the length and breadth of the country. We've seen people that have become governors, senators, even Speaker of House of Rep, Senate President. We can't deny that fact that he's had influence even across political parties, across political divide, because there's one major thing, and it is very, very instructive to bring in Chief MQ Abiola into this conversation. And I'm sure that Asiwaju has been close to Asiwaju, because you cannot take June 12 away from Bola Tinubu being a senator of SDP then and being involved in the campaign, because there are a lot of pictorial evidence that you can see where you see Abiola and you see Asiwaju just right behind him in the movement. So there are lessons that must have been learned from that with respect to building network. So you can't deny that fact. From Ogun to Sokoto to even as Tambuwal is in PDP today as a governor of Sokoto State, Asiwaju had a role to play in his political career. So there's no denying the fact. When ACN was formed, when AC was formed, we transformed AD from AD to AC into Action Congress. Then Nigeria was added to it. We cannot limit our political influence to the Southwest alone. So it became Action Congress of Nigeria. That was the move. And like Majid pointed out, what you are seeing today was not what started today. It was something that started as far back as 2007, and by 2011 we see that network across the length and breadth. You recall in 2007 when the then Vice President Atiku Abubakar had issues whether he could decamp from his party. The ticket of AC was left hanging.
Hanging for him.
Was left hanging for him for that platform. So the network across his influence spread across all parties.
In studio here, we're looking at it. We also have a booth over at Eco Hotel. This manned by Michael Kwoche and Precious Amayo. Will be going over to them as soon as in fact, imminently. But in the meantime, in studio here, Jide Johnson and Majid Jamil. And I was going to ask, we were asking that, look, he has to be president of the entire country. We've spoken about that. And he has told us, look, all that time, connections were being made.
Asiwaju is not Jagaban of Lagos.
No.
It's Jagaban of Bogu.
There you go.
So Bogu is in the northern part of the country. and you see the kind of impact he has made. And like I said, today is 70. He was governor, retired but not tired in 2007. But look at those he started with in 1999. How many of them are still relevant today? I mean, those are questions. That's what stands him out. Because in the successors that he's been able to build, and those who are tempted to also build successors, I mean, you can see what is happening. I'm not going to name names today because we are celebrating Asiwaju Tinubu, but then examples abound everywhere of those who try to imitate the Asiwaju example by trying to endorse some successors. I mean, but then it turned out that those successors will even run their principals out of their benefactors out of power. But Asiwaju's case has been different. Rather, I mean, he has been expanding his goodwill. He has been expanding his coast beyond the shores. Recall that Oshiomhole to come back to power in Edo State in 2003. I mean, it was because, I mean, sorry, 2010 was as a result of Asiwaju's support. Then gradually moved to Ondo State and reclaimed, got Mimiko to take over from the PDP governor there, from Segun Agagu. And from there, he moved to Ekiti State, where he was able to wrest power from Segun Oni of the PDP to Fayemi, and from there to Osun State, where Rauf Aregbesola also came to power in 2010. And so the Southwest now at a point became fully progressives until Seyi Makinde came back to break that that winning streak in 2019. So, and all this are
just to say, in case you're wondering about the pictures, preparations are in high gear, and the event is about to, you can see those you get some off-cuts. We are fully on ground at Eco Hotel, where indeed you can see it's just about to take off. But sorry for interrupting you. I just wanted to explain those pictures that they were seeing, but there was no sound coming from them. It's all part of the preparation, and we're showing you the scenes as they are happening. So
basically, you've seen Asiwaju making serious interventions in the south, in the south, in the southeast. The defections you see into the All Progressives Congress, or even the merger that saw the ousting of the Jonathan administration in 2015. I mean, Asiwaju is the brain behind that merger. Of course, he was able to bring 5 governors from the then ruling PDP to join into the newly formed APC, Action Congress, sorry, All Progressive Congress. I mean, we have seen that today, and look at the success of the just concluded APC convention. And I mean, you see the emergence of somebody like Senator Iyiola Omishore, whom we saw as a part of the delegation of Asiwaju to the National Assembly, and people started asking questions. So when he emerged as secretary, you know, they started adding 2 and 2 together. I mean, so this is a man that is larger than he looks, and still very simple in nature, and I mean, a philanthropist. I mean, of no mean caliber.
This a man he's 70 today, to the glory of God. In his time, he would have seen a lot of good stuff, but also we can't forget there would have been trying times. Even in this administration, there are those who feel that there was something of a dark period, but here we are now. I suppose men of his type are supposed to be able to take the good, the bad, and the ugly as it comes, and just make sure you overcome, which appears to be what Bola Tinubu is doing.
the way God created us to be, you have night and day. Life can't be all day throughout. There can't be sunlight. You have darkness, and that's why even in the midst of darkness, there are moonlights. You see some moonlights. And just to take a cue from where Emoji stopped, you recall that 2 major electoral cycle actually that projected Asiwaju into national limelight, that made him to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to national elections. Were 2011 election. Without the support, without the tactic support of Asiwaju, Jonathan wouldn't have emerged as the president-elect in 2011. And without the tactic support of Asiwaju, Buhari wouldn't have become the president
in 2015.
In 2015. However, judging from those 2 experiences, we will discover that talking about the dark side which you asked for, in what we have these elements being fair to Asiwaju when it comes to his involvement and his stake and his investment in politics. It's true with it. That's why I said I'm giving it as a clue to the Department of Political Science in Lagos State University and the Department of Science in UNILAG. This is something that we need to document for our children to read, for them to have a clear understanding that, well, life is not full of bed of roses. For example, there's one thing I said concerning the APC primaries, and I'm saying this from strategic communication point of view, for someone that has an understanding of point of view. The idea of APC was to have an all-inclusive progressive umbrella. That's the vision. And that has always been the vision of Asiwaju, to have an umbrella that has all the progressive all the progressive element under one umbrella, where the progressive ideology, welfareism, taking care of the people, giving people deliverables of democracy, letting people have a sense of belonging in the political in the political platform. That's the idea. But well, to a large extent, are we seeing that with the outcome of what we have in the APC convention? Time will tell. Has been APC being fair to Asiwaju? Because I must say this without any doubt, without his involvement, President Muhammad Buhari wouldn't be president today.
Indeed. There's no doubt about that.
Yes,
he wouldn't be president today.
No doubt about that.
He wouldn't be president today.
As you would have seen glimpses there, our Mike Okweche and Precious Amayo, and that's apart from Ayodele Ozubaku, they are all out there at the venue. It's just about to start, and you can see that we're still sorting 1 or 2 things out, because you just saw a glimpse there of Mike Okweche and a guest. You'll be seeing more of those kind of scenes. We'll be taking all those people because thanks to our studio that we sort of, if you want to call it that,
the makeshift.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay,
so as I said, just explaining to you how we'll be cutting between us and them as time allows. Yes, I could see that when Jide was speaking, were there aspects you wanted to
Yes, I was going to add that, for an Asiwaju, is so many things to so many people. Those who feel there are some people, for example, they make Asiwaju a topic, and you see before they say anything, and that's one of the dark sides. But then for an Asiwaju, it will tell you, leave them. Some people in Lagos, I'm not going to mention names, but they know themselves. Some people have said that they are going to relocate. I think they have relocated once. They have said they are going to relocate again if Asiwaju becomes president. So,
but you're not going to mention names.
I'm not going to mention names. But
I shall know one of them. I shall know one of them.
But the same way. They have said it several times. At a point, I was like, can you just change the topic and leave this man alone?
But you can't leave Asiwaju alone. He's the man that everybody is talking about.
He's the X factor.
And you also see some of the people that are really very close to him. They have taken some jibes. They have said certain things that you would wonder what is happening. But then Yoruba will say, somebody like Asiwaju has become Akiton. All types, all sort of debts. He has become like a waste dump that all sort of things.
Everybody is going to have an opinion, positive or negative, but especially negative.
But give it to Asiwaju. We have seen those who left, said so many bad things about him. They will come back, he will take them in and even reward them with very juicy positions. That's the kind of person we are celebrating today.
Bola Tinubu colloquium, the 13th, and as I said, as soon as it's feasible, we're going to go right over there so you can just start hearing it direct yourself and live. But we're sorting it out. You can see the place is filling up. Bola Tinubu himself will be in shortly. If he isn't in already, I'm not quite sure, I can't see, but you can see it's filling up. It's an epoch event. It's the 13th in the series. We've had one every year from when it started, so this is the 13th. So this aspect of the man started 13 years ago, and before then there had been other fora, that the man did. Okay, it's still not working yet the way we want it to. But there
it shows consistency and doggedness, and that you can't take that away from the man which you are talking about. And like Moji said, you have to be in politics. There's a particular saying in my local dialect. There's nothing like barre da son. Please leave here and go to the. It's barre da si by. And the more, so
the more the merrier.
The more the merrier. So no matter how, sometimes, and there's a saying we say in our local dialect. A bad child has his own purpose and his own need in politics, and that's what Asiwaju has understood. Because, like he pointed out, people have insulted, they've derided, they've said all manners of things about him, and then you still see them. I can mention names because I belong to no political party. I can mention.
But he's not a man that can be ignored.
I get my point. For example, in Lagos State, you take someone like Senator Seyi Ogunlewe, and if someone will tell you that Senator Ogunlewe will succumb to Asiwaju's political ideology, he said over his dead body, over my dead body. But that's the beauty. That tells you the largeness of art, which the man, you may not like him, but you might not, you will not disagree with his largeness of art and his ability to see, clearly the political terrain, and his ability to master the political terrain. My only disagreement with Asiwaju is just that it's the same set of people, particularly in Lagos. The space is a bit closed and it's a bit choked, and
some people have made it exclusive.
So that's just
the space in Lagos. Of those of you so very close to Asiwaju,
the space.
You are not allowing any further entry.
It's too choked.
You know what Dr. Johnson is saying? He's a lecturer. I've played some politics, and I understand it before I retired from politics. When I came back. See,
to journalism.
Yeah, to journalism. The day I ran away from politics is when,
just like you too, I did too.
when somebody told me, is a political leader, he said, if you have 10 things to share and there are just 3 of us here, you expect that maybe the leader will take 4 and others will take 3. But one person will want to take 8. And we want to, even the remaining 2, he will struggle with it, with the 2 of you. So that's the day I left politics.